2 things today. Are you ready? Hi everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our Falling for Autumn quilt, which is getting really close to being done. So we finished all of the blocks. All of them. Oh my gosh, I love how this has turned out. I've received so many messages from everyone saying that this is a favorite now that we did all these personalizations, and how fun. I love this one. This has been a really, really fun group project. So today we are going to do 2 things. I was thinking just one, but I'm thinking 2 will work out. So the first one, real quick, we are going to do the signs. So you can wait and do the signs later. Some people like to do them at the very, very end. It is an embellishment, and generally I like to do the embellishments at the very end, but these are just the signs, and I think it'll be easier to do it before we have our backing on, but it's up to you. You can watch this later and do this part later if you choose, but I'm thinking I'm going to do the signs, just the signs. All the rest of the embellishments we'll do later, but the signs I think we could handle now. So let's talk about the signs real quick. So like I said, they are an embellishment. So I have mine in my embellishment pack. If you made packets, grab your packet. And the embellishments are simply the white leather. Like, how easy is that? All right, there's one piece of white leather. It does have a soft side on the back. You can tell the front from the back from that. The vinyl is on the leatherish vinyl is on the front, and then the soft is on the back. Don't back it with fusible stabilizer. Leave it as is. So we are going to have this at 6 by 7.5. All right, for all the signs. One go, super easy. 6 by 7.5 for our main fabric. Like I said, it is a white leather. All right, cream. It's actually cream. Sorry, cream. Yeah, looks pretty white to me, but cream embroidery leather, 6 by 7.5. All right, and then the only other thing that you want for the signs is a wash away topping, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised we need it, but maybe so that the stitches don't sink down into the leather. I find that happens with plush fabrics. I have not noticed it with leather, but I'm probably going to do it anyway just because it suggests it. And they are little words, so little font. And so if you're one of those that has the thread that is higher number, I don't remember exactly if it's lower or higher number. I think it's higher number for the small font. That may help you. I don't have that. I'm not going to do that, but that might help. That's up to you. All right, so anyway, wash away topping, we want one piece of wash away topping that is 9 by 7. It's the topping, not the stabilizer. There's wash away stabilizer that goes in the hoop, wash away topping that goes on the top of the project. All right, and we're just going to stitch out the sentiments, and we're not going to trim them at the time. I'll go over the whole process with you in photos, but that part should be really easy, and then we will just hand sew or sew them on, either way, but more information as we get there. So that topping, it's going to be interesting to get that topping off with all the font typing, all the font stitching, but we can always just dissolve it in water as well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll tell you what else we're going to do today. right, once we have the signs on, and again, you can choose to do the signs after the whole project is done, whatever works for you. Some people have even been doing them while they do the blocks, and that's fine because they are flat. That's why it's okay to do them now. And they won't get in the way when we're doing our stitch in the ditch. But then it's time to move on to the inner borders. Yay, inner borders. We're getting so close to the end. It's very exciting. So the inner borders are on page 56 of our book. And very simply, it is the burnt orange silky solid. So let me just turn to that page here. So the dark orange silky solid, I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. That's up to you. We are going to quilt these. So I prefer to have them with the fusible backing on the back of them. So the strips we want, what does it say? Four pieces that are 1.5 times width of fabric. All right, so width of fabric meaning big, long strips. All right, 4 of them that are 1.5 times width of fabric. Okay, and then we need batting. I have not cut my batting yet. I am going to use my project batting by Kimberbell, and for the batting we want to have the batting to be exactly the size needed, because you'll see in the technique that I'm going to show, and I've done it on a bunch of our videos, that I add the batting on with a glue stick before I start doing my borders, and then I'll take off those first 2 steps of the quilting. That's the placement and the tack down of the batting, because we'll already have the batting attached. So you want the batting. So first off, let me tell you, glue stick. I use the glue stick. If you use the fabric spray, that works too. I just find it very messy. I don't like it at all. So I use the glue stick. I will add a link here where you can easily, quickly purchase the glue sticks, and these are the big thick ones that last longer. So glue stick off of Amazon, link here where I'm pointing. A lot of people don't understand the links. Click on that link and it will take you to my Amazon affiliate for the glue sticks. All right, so anyway, the inner borders, we are going to have our batting. So remember, I said 1.5 times width of fabric for the strips, 4 of them, but then we also want batting, and we want those to be exactly the size needed. So here's the key. You have to measure your quilt, all right? Your quilt may be different than mine. You may have your 1/4 inch seam allowance might be a little bit different than my 1/4 inch seam allowance, or the cutting of your blocks, or whatever it is. We're all different, right? So mine came out to be exactly 30 inches by 30 inches. All right, full measure it from the center down and then center across to get your quilt measurement, and that's how we'll determine what we need for the inner borders. All right, so once you have that, then we are going to figure out the quilting, and I haven't done that yet. I'm going to open it up on Embellishment Essentials and see, because obviously we don't have a hoop that is 30 inches long, so we'll have to double hoop, and so we'll have to figure out, based on your hoop size, which of the sizes will work best to get, because I want a full 29 and a half inches of quilting personally, and it can be a little bit less, it can be a lot more. I generally like to do more, and so what I do is I choose the quilting that is going to just run off onto the stabilizer, so that I have the full length of quilting. I like it to go all the way edge to edge on the inner borders. That's my preference. You can do yours where it comes in a little bit more, and whatever works for you. But I like the quilting to go all the way. And so I'm going to have to make sure that my batting is the right size, so that it doesn't, if it stitches on that batting, then you're not going to get the batting out, and then you'll have batting in your seams, which isn't a huge big deal. Let me just tell you right now, if you have batting in your seams, the world is not going to end. It just makes it easier, and it looks less bulky, right? So you preferably would not have batting in your seams. So to do that, then you have to measure your quilt and then determine the size of your batting. So if our inner border size is 1.5 times width of fabric, then I want my batting, because my quilt is 30 by 30, so I want my batting to be 1 inch, exactly 1 inch, not 1.5, 1 inch times 29.5. That's what I want, because that will give me my 1/4 inch seam on the top and my 1/4 inch seam on the bottom, so that I'll have 29 inches of quilting, 29.5. All right, 29.5 of the batting. So actually I'm going to aim for 30 inches of quilting. And let me tell you now, there will be a 1x10 design. It's never a full 10 inches. So I generally do like the 12 or even the 14 inch, but I'll show you when I get to Embrilliance on what I'm going to go with. And again, that is depending on your hoop size. So whatever works, but most likely we'll have 3 hoopings at least. I would guess a minimum of 3 hoopings, maybe. Although I don't know if there's a 16-inch design. If there's a 16-inch design and I have a 10 by 16 hoop, I might be able to do it in 2 hoopings. I think the biggest inner border is usually 14 inches though, and it's not really 14. So anyway, I'll tell you when we get to the computer. I'm going to bring you over and show you an Brilliance Essentials so that you can get a visual of what the different sizes look like and what will work with your hoop size. But let's go ahead and get started on our inner borders. Hey everyone, so I'm at my computer now and I am going to show you how to do more of the strips in one hooping or in each hooping if you prefer, depending on your hoop size of course, but I'm thinking that since they're thin inner borders, I'm thinking that we can get 4 in one hooping and that will save us time. So we will need, I'm assuming that we will need 3 hoopings either way, but I'll show you here what I'm talking about. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials and it opens up, and down here at the bottom it shows me the hoop size that I'm on. So whatever hoop size that you want to be on, if this isn't, like it's showing that I'm on my 7 by 12, that might actually work, I'm not sure, but either way, if not, go up to this preferences folder, click on the hoop size you want. I probably will want 8 by 12, but let's just see. All right, maybe I should go ahead and change it now. Or I'm going to go ahead and change it. Give me a little bit of time. Give me a little bit of room. All right, so 8 by 12, click OK, and then up here on this compass button, click on H for hoop, so it zooms into the hoop. All right, and now you can see down here at the bottom, it's showing I'm on my 8 by 12 hoop. All right, so then go to Merge Stitch File, and don't forget I said you need to measure your quilt. So my quilt measures 30 by 30, and so I know that I want to get about 30 inches of quilting is my preference. So in the Falling for Autumn quilting bundle, there's all the quilting designs, and then there's the border one. So click open the border one and then click on the format that you use. And I'm going to quickly just show you the sizes so that you can determine what will work for you and for your hoop size. So this first one is the 1 by 10. If I click on the design, it will tell me the size of that design. So it's 1.5 by 8 5/8. That's a little bit larger than 8.5 inches. All right, so even if you did 3 hoopings, you're not going to get enough quilting. So I don't want to use that one. I'm going to go ahead and just move it over here for now. All right, and then I'm going to click Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to bring in the next size. That was the 1 by 10. So the 1 by 12 is the next one right here, and I think that's probably the one I'm going to want to use. So this 1 by 12, if I click on it, I have to click on the stitching. It says it's 1.5 by 11 3/16. So just over, nope, just under, sorry, just under 11 1/4. All right, so basically 11 inches. If I did 3 hoopings of that, it's going to give me 33, 34 inches, something about that. And so that will work out really well because mine is 30 inches. If I get 30 inches of quilting and then the 3 extra inches will run off onto the stabilizer, that actually would work really well. So I very likely will want that one. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and show you the next one. I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, that borders, and this 1 by 14. So there's also a 1 by 7 for those of you that are using a 5 by 7 hoop as your largest hoop. That one usually is 7 inches. I know it won't work for me, so I'm not going to bother clicking on it, but for those with a 5 by 7 hoop, you would use this one, and you would just keep on using it on your inner border until you have the size needed for your specific quilt. All right, so here's the 1 by 14. It goes on top of that first one, so I'm just going to click on the stitching, move it over. Obviously, it's too large for my 8 by 12 hoop, but this one is 1.5 by 13 3/16. All right, so even if I did, like, if my goal would be to try and get less hoopings, obviously. So if I wanted to get 2 hoopings, then I would generally use the largest one. But you can see that even if I did 2 hoopings, I'm only going to have, what, 27-ish inches of quilting. So that's still not enough for me. So the this largest one, either way, I'm going to have to do 3 hoopings. So whether I'm doing 2 of this 14-inch and 1 of the 7-inch or whatever works, it's not going to give me less hooping. So I'm not going to do the 14-inch and I'm not going to do the 10-inch because that doesn't give me enough. All right, so I know I want to use this 1 by 12. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move it over. Actually, I'm going to move it haphazardly so you can see how to do that align and distribute if you haven't before. All right. It didn't end up being haphazardly. It's pretty much right on center anyway, but that's okay. All right, so one thing I want to point out is you need to change the colors so that we can do a color sort, but you don't really have to, because if you're going to use the technique that I'm going to show you as far as doing the glue sticks on the batting, then you don't need steps 1 and 2, and you can click on these and then click delete on your keyboard. All right, I'm going to keep steps 1 and 2. So just a reminder, step 1 is the placement stitch for the batting, and step 2 is the tack down stitch of the batting, and we don't need those steps because we're going to attach the batting right onto our strips. So you can delete those. All right, another way of doing it is clicking outside from the right and bringing it over to the left and down to be able to get those 2 items, and then click delete. I am going to leave it in only because I want to remind those that didn't do it this way, I want to remind them to bypass that. All right, so I'm going to leave it in. But so basically I just have to look through here and see what colors are going to be the same. So turquoise, light orange, there's 2 blues. So that's the only one that I need to change. And like I said, you don't need to because you can just delete it. But I'm going to go ahead and click on it, click on the color, and I'm going to change the colors to dark aqua. And then all the others are going to join anyway because they don't overlap. All right, so that's the first one. That was super easy. I'm going to go ahead and click on that design. And I'm going to say Control C like copy, and then Control V like victory to paste it. And you can see I have 2. You can see them over here. It doesn't look like it because it's right on top of that first one, but there are actually 2 designs, and it's already ready to be color sorted because it copied from that first one. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it haphazardly over there. And then I'm going to say Control V like victory a 3rd time to get a 2nd time to get a 3rd design. All right, and then I'm going to say Control V one more time like victory to get a 4th one. This one I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way over. I don't think I have to do that. I think it'll do it for me, but either way. All right, so I have the 4 designs. I've clicked outside so that nothing is selected, and I want to do and align and distribute. So you have to do it before you do a color sort. If you do an align and distribute after your color sort, these 4 designs are going to become 1 design, and then you can't do an align and distribute. So make sure to do that now. So you saw I just closed all these windows. I'm going to go ahead and click down from the bottom and drag up so that all 4 of these designs are selected, and then I'm going to do a utility align and distribute. And I often forget which ones to do, so bear with me if I do it incorrectly for a moment. All right, so I'm going to say, let's see, align. I'm going to say center, center, and see if that works. Nope. See, I always forget. Every time. It's so funny that I forget this. So I'm going to say close, and I'm going to say this undo button right here. Sorry about that. I tend to always forget those. I don't know why. Never seem to remember. All right, so I just clicked down and dragged up again, go back to utility, align and distribute, and maybe it's just center. Let's try that and say apply. All right, that worked. Sorry about that. Okay, so that worked. So it just made it so that they are all aligned. You can see that they are aligned with the center. Now I want to distribute them because you can see I have a tiny little bit of space here, a tiny little bit of space here, and a whole bunch of space here. So I just want to distribute them so that there's more space in between, and it's distributed accurately. So if I click on the distribute tab, this one I'm pretty sure I do center, center, and then I've got extent of selection. I think you can also do extent of hoop, either way, but I moved both of mine all the way over to the side, so I don't really need that. So I'm going to do extent of selection, and I'm going to click apply. Watch what will happen. It should move them all so that there's equal spacing between them. I'm going to click apply. There we go. Close. All right, so you can see that now they're all centered. They're actually a little bit up. While they're selected, I'm going to go ahead and move them down just a bit so that they're centered. Not that it matters, but my little OCD brain, it'll work well for me. All right, so I have them centered with the black squares in the center line, and then they're also centered just so that they're not all haphazard, which also doesn't matter, but it just kind of makes it easier for my brain. All right, so I'm going to click outside. Those are done. So that is getting 4 of the strips all in one hooping, and there's a space in between. That works out really well. So I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as, and I'm in my Falling for Autumn quilt. I'm going to name it, let's see what hoop size, 8 by 12 inner borders times 4. That's what I'm naming mine. 8 by 12 inner borders times 4. Save. And then I'm going to go ahead and send it to my machine because my machine is on, and I am going to say send to Solaris XP1. If you don't have that feature, if your embroidery machine doesn't have that, you would just send it to a USB stick and bring your USB stick to your embroidery machine, and you're all good to go. File sent to machine. So I'm ready to start. Now we will have to do 3 hoopings of this, and if you haven't done that before, it's actually really simple. I will walk you through the process with photos. Oh my goodness. So would you believe that I got this over to my embroidery machine, sat down, got all my batting ready, got everything ready, and went to stitch, and nothing's color sorted. I have 20 color steps, and I'm like, wait a minute, totally forgot to do a color sort. Sorry about that, guys. So we are going to do a color sort. We have 20 color steps. You can see, or design steps, down here in the right hand corner. So we did our align and distribute, but we have not done our color sort. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go to utility color sort, and don't forget, you need to have these same settings that I have here. All right, tolerance is at 0 to be able to get the same results that I get. All right, so now I'm going to click New View. It will open another tab, and it will go from these 4 designs down to 1 design. All right, and you can see it reduced it by 15 color changes. So New View. All right, and oh, that's funny. It made it big. I don't know why. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know why? It's because I had it on my 5 by 7 hoop for these. That's funny. It changed to my hoop. It changed my hoop. So I'm going to go back to my 8 by 12 hoop. I'm clicking on this preferences folder, 8 by 12, say okay. And then you can see the red went away so that it's not outside of the hoop. And then I'm going to click on this compass button and click H for hoop so that I can see it all in one hooping. All right. Now I like to check each of these to make sure it did what it's supposed to do, because obviously if you bring it over to the machine and it's not right, you're like, hey, wait a minute, something's not right. All right, so here's that first step. This is the placement for the batting. This is the one I told you that you can delete. I'm keeping it in just to remind everyone to bypass. And then the second one is the tack down for the batting. Again, you don't need that one either, so you can click delete on that. And then the third step is our placement for our strips, for our inner border strips. And we definitely want that because we're going to line up our fabric strips right within that placement stitch. All right, and then the fourth one is the tack down, and you can see that because it's border strips, it only tacks down on the sides. It doesn't tack down on the top and the bottom, just the sides to hold it in place. And then the last step is our quilting design. So that's perfect. Make sure to do your color sort. Don't follow me so closely that you forget to do your color sort. Sorry about that. I was rushing because I had my niece coming over today. All right, so anyway, this is all done and ready. I'm on my 8 by 12 hoop. I already did a file save, so I'm going to do a save stitch file as. I could just do save probably, but let's see. So this was on my 8 by 12 hoop, and it's inner borders right there. So I'm just going to save over the file I already had and click save. And I really should have saved this in the quilting design so that if I needed it again, I could find it easily that way, but this works too. All right, so 8 by 12 inner borders, save. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. All right, and then I'm going to send this one, the corrected file, to my XP Luminaire, file sent to machine. All right, and if you don't have that, you can always just send to a USB stick. All right, now we really are ready to get stitching. how are you doing with your goal? So I haven't weighed in actually, but I had a very active weekend, a very, very, very active weekend. So I feel really good about that. I did a hike. So I went up Table Rock, which is about 3.5 miles and about 800, 900 feet of climbing. And so I did that, and then I got down to the bottom, and I wanted to do more. I was feeling strong enough that I wanted to do more. And so I went up another way and then came down, and then I went up another way, and that way was like intense. Like I was looking around for mountain lions. It was like so desolate. There weren't people up there, and it was way up in the hills, and it was pretty amazing. It felt pretty cool, and it was hard too. Like if I had fallen, I probably would have hit my head on a rock because there were these huge boulders I was climbing over. It was pretty intense, but anyway, it was really fun, really good workout, really, really good workout. And when I got down to the bottom, I was really close to 6 miles. And so I decided, hey, I'm going to go back up and get a 10K. So I went up a little bit and came back down to make sure I got my full 10K, which is 6.2 or 6.3, something like that. So I got that, and then I also walked my dogs another 4 miles, or a little bit more than 4 miles in 2 different walks. So I had a big day. I had like 25,000 steps or more than that, and really good workout. Really enjoyed it. So it had felt really strong. And the funny thing is then Sunday I did the club ride with my bike club. And it was this short 22-mile ride. It had probably 600 feet of climbing. It wasn't bad. And I was dying. Like I did great the whole first half of the ride. And then like the last 8 miles, I was dragging and trying to keep up with the group. I was like, oh my gosh, I have nothing left. And I'm sitting there in my head, you know, we do that, right? We get in our head and like, why am I not strong? What is the problem? And I'm thinking, did I not eat enough breakfast? Did I not eat enough dinner the night before? What did I do to not prep for being able to do a simple, it was like 22-mile ride, and it should have been easy, and it really wasn't. And so I'm all in my head going, what did I do wrong? And then it hits me that I hiked like 10 miles on Saturday. Well, duh, of course I didn't give my body a chance to recover. So, and I really didn't eat dinner very well. And so I definitely set myself up to fail for that Sunday ride. So have you ever done that? It's pretty frustrating. Like it's so obvious. We want to do well and we want to push our bodies, but we also need to recover and let them heal and not do something huge before a club bike ride that you're going to look like an idiot going, oh, I can't keep up. But it was just not my day. That's all right. That's all right. So anyway, very good workout weekend. I really enjoyed it. What did you do this weekend? Did you do anything active? Did you do something towards your goal? Let me know how you're doing. And my shirt today, this is my gnome shirt. I love this shirt. Isn't this so cute? This is an older design from Planet Applique. It says, hanging with my gnomies. I love this one. So I actually made this when we were doing the gnome event. So I'm going to point to it there. See right there, my gnome. I don't remember what that was called, but it was a event from Kimberbell, and oh my gosh, it was really fun. It was a 2-day event. I got to meet a bunch of really fun people at my local quilt store, so that was really fun. So I made this in honor of that. And it was just a really cute design from Planet Applique. I will add underneath this video a link to where I got the design. The shirt, this is one of my favorites. It's that one I've shown you before. It's stretchy and it's got a hood and it's got a little pocket front. It's a great shirt to embroider on, and it's thin, so it's perfect for right now when it is cold in the mornings and then it gets warmer in the afternoons. But it, you know, keeps my arms warm. I like this shirt a lot. I've got it in several colors. So I will add a link here for where you can get this shirt on Amazon. It's a great shirt to embroider. I highly recommend it.